Hello there, everybody! Now you have some faces and some voices to Unity Clash Summer Showdown. Fu and myself, Keller, are here, but I do hope you have enjoyed the matches so far that we have been able to showcase today. But Fu and I, we're going to take the reins from here, and next up, we have Paper Rex and CU Fibonacci. But first off, Fu, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good. I mean, we came off of such a great action-packed broadcast yesterday, and I can't wait to continue it today, because it's all about finding the cream of the crop, right? We're down to the top 8. This is the double elimination of the Day 2, the Asia series. So, I mean, I wonder what we're going to watch. We saw 5 speedsters beforehand behind the scenes, so maybe we've got more different, mystery drafts coming our way. Who knows, Kello? Let's see what happens.
You know, something I would love to see, and I don't know if any of these teams would actually be gutsy enough to pull it off, but 5 speedsters focusing Alchemy, maybe? Hey! Who dare test the waters?
That's right. See who can bake the bigger cake here. But we're going to go right into our first game, and this is going to be the winners semifinals, folks. Paper Rex against Code Unknown Fibonacci. Paper Rex swept their group yesterday in Group B. Definitely a very dominant performance. They just took out Splash in a 2-1 performance. And Code Unknown Fibonacci Kello also took out their counterpart Looking for Org 2-1 as well. So, I mean, this is a clash of 2 really good teams. And look at immediately Alchemy Blissey getting banned out.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You just do not want to deal with the shields that both of those characters provide, or even the movement speed or the attack speed buff given both of those. So wipe those out of the way. But one thing I feel like we didn't actually see any of yesterday was Suicune, and it looks like Paper Rex are going to select this Pokemon up first. We know how powerful it can be, especially with the crowd control that it boasts. But what do you think about this, Fu?
Yeah, this is very interesting. The Pikachu ban also, maybe a respect ban. I'm not too sure. Maybe we're looking at more speedsters coming out of Paper Rex. I mean, Volt Tackle is one of those moves that you would hate to deal with, right? And speaking of the other teams, see Fibonacci going for a very tanky start to their roster. A Rocky Helmet Snorlax, Kello, and then you've got your stacking specs Clefable. So, I mean, both these teams, playing very different drafts, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 supporters already out, you've got to make sure that you secure that one over your side, especially when Paper Rex have gone for that Suicune. It does have that experience share on hand, so whether we'll end up seeing them switch on over to another character or whether they are going in for the support Suicune. But, I mean, Miraidon and Blaziken have tied off Paper Rex's team for the time being. Dodrio is a speedster we don't really see very often. How do you feel about Dodrio in this current meta?
Yeah, I feel like Dodrio here has just got one thing in their 3 little brains, right? It's just to take down Solo's Miraidon. And it's going to be quite difficult because we do have possibly Umbreon coming out from Rebonds as one of those anti-speedster Pokemon, as well as Yang itself inherently has really good crowd control as well. I think the comp of having something like a Suicune and a Miraidon Kello is really good against a team that likes to bunch up together, and that's what Clef really helps out, right? And if you have Cursed Incense on a Pokemon like Miraidon, as soon as you get your charge beam on this Pokemon, the healing's going to be reduced as well. So it's going to be a very interesting game of how CU Fibonacci actually plays around this Clef without getting that Cursed Incense applied to them.
One thing I am noticing about both of these drafts is it's very early game focused. I mean, besides Blaziken needing to get to level 7 in order to reach its final evolution, but you have both Zoroark and Dodrio evolving at level 5, and pretty much the rest of them don't need to evolve besides those double evolutions, which evolve at level 4. So, be interested to see how this early game turns out, because that's really where either team can start to snowball.
Yeah, I agree as well. We're going to head right in now. It seems like we're splashing into the Summer Showdown winners semi-finals here. And you can see, like you mentioned, having so many early games means that whichever team can really hold its ground, maybe get some important picks, will be able to start that snowball action. And for Paper Rex, they're definitely looking for this, to nurture this Blaziken, right? To get those move switches at level 8, and then it should be able to have a decent time into the rest of the team. We're going to start right off. Paper Rex on your purple team, Kello. CU Fibonacci on your orange.
Yeah, we do have Paper Rex there coming in from Malaysia, Code Unknown Fibonacci from the Philippines. So a battle of the Asia regions there. Otherwise, we're heading up into the top path with Clef and a Zarshan. Meanwhile, there's Dodrio. So both the speedsters going into that central area.
It's so important, right, to get that level 5, as we mentioned before, and looking for maybe the level 4 is going to be the Clefairy, as long as they can get some stacks in the early game. Obviously, will boost that healing as well. Big lunge coming in from Yelena, has to quickly back away. They don't want to lose any members right now, especially to something like a Torchic.
No, it's way too earlier on to give over any KOs. I guess because both teams are holding their ground, we do have Yemu on that Torchic who is needing to stack, but going into a Zarshan is just too tricky. And I guess this is why Code Unknown have recognized to go and send up that Espeon for some extra support. That way they can just keep this Torchic at bay even further.
Yeah, you will have a numbers advantage for CU Fibonacci. On the top side there, as we have a combo come from Zorak HT, able to grab some of it, uses its feint boosted onto Yelena, but just not enough damage now coming out from Paper Rex to really find any KOs. We're going to wait for the team's next decision, but from this end, it does seem like at the start, CU Fibonacci coming off very aggressive. They might even get a KO here. They do onto the Suicune, Kello.
Yeah, they managed to get a KO. Torchic not able to stop that Clefable from getting in that first dunk for their attack weight stacks. However, they do end up paying the price by getting taken down by HT on that Zoroark. Now the chase is on, but look at this. Two members hiding in the bush to go and ambush Paper Rex and stop them from pushing on forth to that tier 1.
Well, it's like they said, right, from Professor Oak, never walk into tall grass if you don't want to see Pokemon's looking out of it. And what a great start for CU Fibonacci right now. They are steamrolling this top part. Finally, we do have the Umbreon coming to defend it, just defend everyone away. But you can see how much time this has bought for Fibonacci. They're able to soak up all those experience in the middle side of this map.
Yeah, that is really just going to give a boost to their levels. 2 level 7s over on their side. Only the 1 level 7 over on the side of Paper Rex. However, we finally have that Combusken online. Does need to gain 1 extra level in order to reach that fully fledged Blaziken. 4 members. Paper Rex are up here against 2 members of Code Unknown Fibonacci, and it looks like they're diving on in.
Oh, every action has an equal opposite reaction. This is Paper Rex's time to lay siege on that tier 1 pad. We have the Blaziken online now. We've got a few dunks coming in. I mean, they're making more as well. 45 to 56. And all CU Fibonacci can do is just move away. They know if they go in, they're just going to feed the Fire Chicken a little bit more. So Paper Rex did a very good job, Kello, to really come back in this earlier portions of the game.
Yeah, they really did manage to make a comeback, having that Zoroark at level 9, the highest level on the map. However, we do have this Regirock being started on, and it does end up going to Fibonacci. Umbreon unable to steal that, and with 3v4 down in this bottom path, it'll be interesting to see what Fibonacci do, but look at this shred that Miraidon is bringing right now. Does end up getting stunned by that Dodrio, but even with the Unite move, it wasn't able to finalize a KO.
No, it wasn't, and here comes the aggression from Paper Rex once again. The Zarshan's defending top side. They know they have the numbers advantage, and with that KO on 3 members, it is going to be Paper Rex pulling away now, 101 to 56. They do find the Zoroark, though, coming out from the Espeon, and with those store powers, just so careful, they're going to do a little bit more damage, but I do think the damage has been done in terms of scores, Kello, and Paper Rex doing very well now just to back away, not affording any more KOs.
126 to 76, so Paper Rex definitely have that advantage there, having both of their tier 1s available, whereas Fibonacci, they are missing that top one. But as we pivot down into that bottom part, the action isn't going to stop as those birds have spawned on in, but the range that Miraidon has just allows it to shred at a distance and not get touched.
Yeah, it really feels like the Miraidon is the Kryptonite to Fibonacci. You're right. Because it outranges that Espeon, and there's just so much pressure for this Dodrio to actually hunt them down. You can see Full Heal getting popped there as well, so they're not going to have it the next time they engage us close to something like a Suicune. And speaking of which, great stun coming out from Yang, though, to CC 3 members of CU Fibonacci. They're going to go for more there, try attack to come through, but the instant freeze going to make this 3-headed bird just alive just a bit more harder, I think, to really go in and get any KOs.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky thing. Diving onto a Suicune, once it has doused you with that water, you become susceptible to the freeze. So really, you cannot risk actually trying to finish it off. And, you know, being an all-rounder, it does have a bit more of a HP pool than those squishies. But there we go. Another Regirock has spawned up on the map, as we do have Paper Rex trying to zone on out, while the rest of the members are trying to shred it down. But there's no one from Fibonacci that can even try and contest this one.
Well, Yang is pushing up so far forward, able to zone out all 3 remaining members of CU Fibonacci down in the bottom part there, and a huge charge beam into the power nap. We'll be able to soak up a lot of that damage that Solo is doing, but here comes the Bright Future Meteor Storm right onto that pad, and it's good enough to find 4 members of CU Fibonacci. They're going to be seeing Nurse Joy soon back in the Pokemon Center as Rebongs picks up that Chaos Trigger 3.
Wow, being able to push on through and get in some more dunks into that tier 2 despite Fibonacci having the jump pads available. But whether they're going to pay the cost and give a few KOs here, no they're not. They're going to get a few KOs themselves. 2 KO streak to that Blaziken. And now reaching that 3-minute 50 mark, it's 231 to 136.
You can really see the level disparity starting to grow, Kello. We do have all minimum level 11s on the side of Paper Rex. Well, if you look on Fibonacci, there are still level 9s on the board. And the action does not stop, it seems. Yamu coming into the central area to do a bit of shopping as well. Anything they can do to starve out Fibonacci in the last 90 seconds before that Rayquaza spawns. We might have a 1v1 in the middle side here, as we do have the Metal Claw come through, but a bit of Houdini action to triple trample coming out from Dodrio just to ensure that that other speedster goes down, Kello. Perhaps a mistake coming out from Paper Rex. That's a lot of experience going back on the Dodrio.
Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, and the birds do that best, being able to pick themselves up a KO, run across the map, go in and get in some dunks into that tier 2 just to bridge that gap in points ever so closer. So really, Fibonacci, they are still in this game. It's really just going to come down to that final stretch, soon to come in 45 seconds.
We'll see what happens now. We do see more people on the side of CU Fibonacci up in that top side. You can see the vision spotted of just the Blaziken and the Suicune from Paper Rex. It's going to be a good Registeel for Paper Rex, though, for free downstairs. And this is going to be a massive booster damage going to that Rayquaza fight.
Oh, but up in the top path, we do have Fibonacci shredding down this Regieleki, and it isn't going to get contested by Paper Rex. 20 seconds left to go. They do have some time to shred it on down, but it looks like they're not going to prioritize that. Instead, they're looking for a fight. Picking off Zacian with that 15-second cooldown means that it's not going to be as soon as Rayquaza spawns. So Paper Rex, they actually have the opportunity to go and snowball Fibonacci here.
Wow, big mistake from Fibonacci there, and that is one of the best secure Pokemons out for the count, coming back in now, and you can see straight away Paper Rex is using the Rayquaza to bait the team in. They find the Suicune, though, coming out from Fibonacci, and Snorlax is caught out between one person and 4 members of Paper Rex, and we do have a trade at least. A 4v4 action will continue as the timer ticks down. Big foul play into the Clefable, and here comes the Nightfall Daze. Doesn't hit anybody, unfortunately, as we have a boosted on the feint attack to try to take anyone down on the side of CU Fibonacci. Here comes the Moonlight Prance Keller. The Bright Feature Meteor Storm also lands in, but somehow, someway, the Clefable survives the entire ordeal, gets finally knocked down by the Charge Beam. There is so much happening. The triple trample to come through. They're aiming for the Blaziken. It's not going to be good enough. The Blaze Kick able to get traded out yet again from the Zacian. And who is going to come out on top? Which team is going to have the advantage? When all the dust has fallen, it does seem like the damage dealers of Paper Rex still survives.
They managed to survive. Yang just providing so much stuns for HT to just go through and shred them on out. They are going to attempt to dump in that 50, but Snorlax is there on that jump pad to go and interrupt them. Paper Rex, they have the point advantage here. They don't need to risk shredding up this Rayquaza. Instead, they just need to keep Fibonacci at bay here.
Another 35 seconds. Time is ticking for CU Fibonacci. They have to choose right now. It might be the time to flip the Rayquaza, or at least for the Dodrio to go for some scores. There goes the Endless Icy Spikes, and that takes out Espeon for the count for the rest of the games. And Zacian is finding it so hard to go into the pit. We're going to still rip the Rayquaza. 18 seconds less. Big Rayquaza stun on everyone on the side of Fibonacci. That means Dodrio is the last person remaining, and Paper Rex obtains the first Rayquaza just shy of the timer ticking down and take the first game.
A very valiant effort from CU Code Unknown Fibonacci there to go and risk flipping the raid, knowing that they were behind, still had that tier 1 pad down in that bottom path, but Paper Rex, they just had this game down pat, being able to zone them out, stun them out, shred them out, and secure that raid and hold that lead. 231 to 185 points in the end, but Paper Rex are the team to do it.
Paper Rex just demonstrating how having a points lead going into Rayquaza really benefits the team, right? Even though we had maybe equal numbers of players getting knocked out here and there, at the end of the day, it was still Code Unknown that needed to make a move, either rip the Rayquaza or get some scores in, right? And unfortunately, they were not able to do so. So fantastic work for our first game. So action-packed, Kello. To start off today's casting. And we're going to have a look at some of the highlights though, but just from the get-go, I think it's just the nature of having speedsters, right? You're going to have combos from the get-go. As soon as you hit that level 5, I mean, HT just looks for any sort of chaos possible.
Yeah, that's, it was just so much action, so... So it was really intense, really. It felt like it was pretty much non-stop this game, but I think, you know, despite Paper Rex holding that lead, like, it was actually a pretty close game between these two teams, very much backwards and forth. Fibonacci, I feel like, had that early game presence, but as soon as that Blaziken came online and you had Zoroark being able to pick up multiple KOs, reach that level 9 point, they really just had a foothold over Fibonacci.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Blaziken, it just does so well once he has access to those spinning flame fists or spinning flame kicks, right? Able to just keep them self-sustained, but also get really good damage numbers to go through. You can see a lot of these fights, it was the chain of Unite moves and just solo beaming from the back line. And I think in the next game, right, Code Unknown Fibonacci probably going to be thinking about how they can actually counter such a ranged attacker that Paper Rex clearly knows how to play. Because, to be honest, that was the problem. From what I can tell, if they could not take down this Miraidon or solo, a lot of the damage is just for free, right? And when you have Curse Incense applied on that as well, Clefable can't heal everyone in time.
No, and really, that's the thing. The Miraidon pretty much stayed untouched for the majority of that for that match. They just had no answer to it, as you mentioned, because you had Umbreon and Suicune. And even then, you could see demonstrating, sticking together, making sure to go and defend them. And then obviously paired up with Zoroark and Blaziken, able to go and finalize those KOs that Miraidon has gone and shredded on out. Like, really, it was just such a really well-rounded composition. So, Fibonacci, I'd say, moving on forward, they either need to find additional dive. I don't think Dodrio into a Suicune and Umbreon was a great choice. Or maybe find some range themselves. Pick up a Mew, pick up an Inteleon, for example, to at least be able to snipe out this Miraidon whenever they aren't protected.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Espeon just does not have the same amount of range as something like a Mew, right? And having Zoroark being the dive on the side of Paper Rex, it was definitely easier for this Pokemon to look for this Espeon. But this was a crazy KO from the Blaziken, but obviously getting quickly traded out from the Zacian, it really was able to save Paper Rex, I think, because if there was any chance of any carries from the side of Fibonacci, probably going to be able to rip that Rayquaza a little bit faster. You can see this is just the end of that game. Rayquaza actually participated in this fight. All those meteors to come down actually helped out a lot with Paper Rex KOing Code Unknown Fibonacci there. And at the end of the day, 1v3 secure. It is going to be Paper Rex that takes it.
I think even if Fibonacci managed to secure that, right, with it was the Dodrio that was left standing, if they ended up getting the secure, I don't think they would have been able to get out of that 1v3 fight. So, really, it was just a downfall at that moment. And I mean, you got to give it to him, got to fight until the end, of course, but definitely a rough final stretch for them. But you know what? It isn't over, because these matches are a best of 3, and it is double elimination as well. So we are up in that winners semi-final. On the opposite end to this match, we do have Onyx Rise and Eastern Regio over on our B stream as well. So if you do want to go check them out and how they're going, you can check out Kato Unite. Otherwise, over here, we have our second match. Code Unknown Fibonacci. They decided to go for first pick position this time around. Paper Rex with that second pick.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when you have the choice, I think teams do prefer to pick first and get that priority down pat. You know, maybe it's grabbing that Suicune that we saw last game, or even the Alchemy if it's available. It is available. We might be able to see another one of those games here with the huge little cake come through. Yes, I was just going to say, it just depends whether they want it or not, but I think every team, if you have the chance, is going to be able to grab this supporter.
Yeah, 100%. If it isn't banned on out, you got to secure it yourself. One thing I'm curious about is whether we're going to see another Suicune pick up from Paper Rex, or whether they're going to prioritize something else. Obviously, with this Umbreon ban, they're going to have to look elsewhere for another defender if that's the route they're going. But Clefable's still available to them as well. But I don't know if Clefable would be the choice to go to try. I mean, considering that Fibonacci already have this Alchemy.
Yeah, well, the good news is for Paper Rex, they don't need to pick the supporter that early anymore, because it's not going to get contested. Instead, they're going to pick up two really strong all-rounders, and I think this is probably the best-case scenario for them, considering that the Psyduck is banned here. Steam taking away Miraidon is so clever, though, because it was one of the problems we talked about, right, in that game number 1, and Ulap going to take the tree away as well. That doesn't leave too many tank options now. I mean, you got the Lat and the Mamo, which is very popular in the western side, but let's see whether Rebonds prefers to this Mamo, maybe just to run at the Miraidon a little bit more. Solo thinking about this snipe shot Inteleon, though, matching the range of Miraidon, perhaps? What do you think about this pick?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is something that we mentioned during that highlights. They need either some dive or some range to counter this Miraidon. So Paper Rex, I think locking this in is a great pickup for them. Interested to see this Mamoswine pick. I know it is obviously a great defender. However, it just I feel like it takes a while to get online. So really going to have to prioritize focusing a lot of this experience to Blaziken and Inteleon, and that's where Mamoswine can tend to fall behind. So interesting to see where this pans on out. But Double Ice, if they end up, I mean, obviously they're not going in a lane together because they each have experience share, but even then, just Double Ice on a team is so nasty.
It really is, and it's why I'm surprised that Yelena actually picked up the Buzzwole here, because Buzzwole does not do well into high crowd control, right? And Suicune is able to apply that without it really getting close to it. So we're probably going to be looking at a good eject from the Buzzwole to maybe get on to anybody to start the Beast Boost passive on before they actually are able to run through the team. I think Mike Ross picking up Leafeon is a great way to ensure that the Inteleon stays in check, right? Having the Emerald 2-step at level 8 is going to be a huge difference maker. But the main thing is we don't have a healer at all on the side of Paper Rex. They're confident enough to play with a double, I guess, crowd control experience shares. Yang probably going up on the top side to quickly help out the Torchic. So at the end of the day, if Hua can have a great Unite move to keep the whole team sustained, I do think they have a fair shot at a great team fight.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you look at Paper Rex's team, it's very late game heavy, whereas Fibonacci, it's very early game heavy. So it's really going to come down to this Leafeon, who I'd say is going into that central area up first to go and keep that top path at bay. Because really, once Yemu was online on that Blaziken, it was just so tricky to take them on down. So it's really going to come down to these early game choices that Fibonacci make. But you know what? All questions will soon be told. As we head into our second game, Code Unknown Fibonacci on the purple side, Paper Rex on the orange side this time.
Yeah, just as you mentioned, we do have Mike Ross in the central area straight away. Now, the difference in the experience changes will mean that they need a little bit more time to get that level 4, but we will have an instant engagement for the middle little Baltoy up in the top side. Meanwhile, on the bottom, a lot of good secure potential from both these teams. And you can see straight away, Rebon's doing a great job harassing the defender counterpart, just really popping as many focus bands that they can, or maybe getting them chunked down. So the Citrus Berry has to be used. It's a great strat for any defender that can survive in their early forms of game number 2. But top side, Kello, seems to be run over.
Yeah, we already have that Leafeon taking that red buff only and going and pressuring up the top path, being able to pick up a KO and dunking in 25 points after all. But we do have HT on this Cerulege, who is at that level 5. No level 5s just yet on Fibonacci, so they're just going to wait in the tall grass as these birds are about to spawn.
Here we're going to go. HT looking for a perfect opportunity to go through the bit of blade to keep themselves in the fight a little bit more. But with a level 5 Yelena, we'll bait out the eject, actually. Everyone's going to be respecting what this level 5 Buzzwole can do.
Yeah, don't want to come into a level 5 Buzzwole waiting in the tall grass to go and grab you and push you away. Otherwise, we have Defender taking out fellow Defender there. Rebong's hopping on over, however, ends up getting caught out by Steam and sent back to the Pokemon Center as well.
It's like outside, out of the frying pan into the fire displayed in this game here. And we're going to have another macho match on the top side between two all-rounders. But so far, though, look at the levels, Kello. Quite even as these teams get to prepare for the next bit of a neutral farm coming in. Bit of a skirmish up on the top side. Nice little grab on the Combuskin. As we have Yang going down first in that fight. Mike Ross picking up that KO.
4 members, 5 members going up against 2 members. However, Paper Rex were able to shred up those birds very quickly, so not giving any to Fibonacci. And now, because Fibonacci decided to group up in that top path, they allowed Combuskin to go and get themselves an attack weight stack. They are going to quickly run away as Buzzwole is right on their tail.
Yeah, more than just Buzzwole now as well, as now Mike Ross, comes in for the assistance and try to take down Yimu, pops that focus band. They are going to be able to get out, but that top path, Kello, is completely now owned and operated by Coden and Fibonacci. They're going to get rewarded with this Altaro family as well.
Yeah, able to pick all of that, leave this goal on 1 point. So it'll be interesting to see whether they actually go and break it or whether they're just going to wait for a potential massive overcap. But we do have these objectives about to spawn in 5 seconds time. We'll see what Basement Reggie we have for Paper Rex here today. It's going to be another Reggie Rock. There's a lot of Reggie Rocks here today.
A lot of Reggie Rocks, but we have a lot of rocks coming down from the skies, and so is the Emerald 2-step. Not able to save Mike Ross, but he's going to be able to pick off the Cerula. Just now the Reggie Rock is extremely low. Snapshot's lined up. It's going to be good enough coming out from Solo. PRX takes your first Reggie in the basement for our game number 2, and that is going to be an opportunity to put some pressure down in this bottom goal zone. Overheat to go through, but the Decorate and the Dazzling Gleam, Kello, just able to prevent any sort of push coming out from Paper Rex.
Yeah, putting that shield onto that Trevenant to just give it that extra sustenance. Otherwise, here comes Buzzwole with the ultra slow slam, taking out the Suicune, unable to get a pick on that Inteleon, who was able to fell stinger back to safety in that flux zone. However, Piloswine does end up getting picked on out, but they don't end up getting KO'd. Instead, they're able to knock out this Trevenant.
Azure Spy Vision getting popped by Solo, probably looking to engage now. Eject coming out from Rebounds, great pick on the Buzzwole, but somehow Buzzwole stays in the fight, uses the ability to grab members, to kind of stay as long as possible and dodge some sort of attack coming out from Paper Rex, but it's not going to be good enough as they find another KO. Solo taking down 2 members now. They're going to be careful as the Trevenant looks to go in, maybe provide that Hornleech isolation. Either way, though, this is a tug of war down in the bottom path. And so far, Paper Rex not having scored a lot of points either. They're only 17 to their name.
Yeah, 17 so far. Otherwise, despite Trevenant being able to get a Hornleech on that Inteleon, there was no follow-up, which means they do end up getting taken down. Otherwise, all-rounder versus all-rounder up in this top path. And looks like HT is able to get out of that tricky situation with a good old Phantom Force.
Oh, HT needed to get out. I mean, Buzzwole has been playing very well despite all the crowd control we mentioned beforehand, right? Able to just dodge maybe the Suicune's Whirlpool to make sure that they can activate the Beast Boost if they have a good Ultra Soul Slam on one of those attackers. Now we're back down in the bottom path. Kello, where has time gone? Another Reggie's about to spawn in about 2 seconds. We're going to see whether the teams want it. Seems like everyone is going to be here at the party for this Regice.
Oh my gosh, what a massive pickup by Rebongs onto that Buzzwole to take care of that one. Otherwise, Leafeon's going to dive on in with the Emerald 2-step, and now Blaziken has been taken on down. Instead of focusing on this Regice, members just want to take each other down. A great Hornleech coming out from this Trevenant to slap him on down and create some space for Fibonacci. But wait a minute, we actually had HT going and diving and taking this Leafeon down. Here comes Buzzwole, back at it again.
Well, back at it again we go. The Regice is still needing some love before the secure. We have both the Overheat and the Snipe Shot lined up together. Paper Rex takes another Reggie to their name, and that's going to allow them to put in a little bit more work here maybe take down ULAP, who has been playing so well here. I think both these teams have such good defender players, Kello, and definitely on clear display. We're going to go in now. Only Solo and the Creamy left. Big stun coming out from Suicune, and Yang able to enable the team to break that bottom goal zone. Finally, they might take back the points lead now.
Yeah, it's 90 points to 117. Paper Rex have now taken the lead, but also the lead in levels. We already have Inteleon that has both of those plus movements on hand. Reaching that level 13 is just going to come down to the Cerulege and Blaziken, who has just ticked on over to also reach those benchmarks. So Fibonacci, they need to try and make some magic happen down in this bottom part, but going up against 3 members, are they able to do it?
Look at Mike Ross. Even using the Emerald 2-step needs to work so much harder to take down your Inteleon there, as we do have now a quick pause in the system as we get back into the action. And with that blink of an eye, it is going to be Yamu taking down 2 members. And now suddenly 4 members of CU Fibonacci is all down and out for the count. But the fact that they have Go Zone jump pads, Kello, it will mean that they're not going to score in that bottom path. But we do have a nice 50 up in the top side, though.
Yeah, even with the range that Miraidon has, that charge beam was just a little bit too late to go and stop them. So Paper X definitely have a comfy position heading on into this final stretch, but they do not want to get too comfy because it is still a close match. 91 to 167. It's just really going to come down to whether Fibonacci can get a pick, but Paper X, they managed to get a pick off first on this Trevenant.
They do, and this is a huge one because that means the focus ban is gone, and there goes ULAB out for this start of this Rayquaza fight. One of the major damage soakers on the team is out for the count. That means Paper Rex has a first look at this Rayquaza. Now, the positioning is just so aggressive. Yang doing a fantastic job to keep this Miraidon out of it, and they're going to go for the rip. Kello, the solo's going to go through. It's going to be the Cerulege that ends up getting the Rayquaza, and it's going to be enough. 3 members down for Code Unknown Fibonacci, and I think it's see you later, says Paper X, as they proceed through winning these winner semifinals.
Yeah, being able to take that set 2-0 against Fibonacci. So they are going to be heading on down into that loser's bracket. Paper X, well, you know what? I did say get comfy, but not too comfy. But now they can at least breathe a bit as they are now headed into that winner's final, either up against Onyx Rise or Eason Reggio on the opposite end. But really, another intense game from both of these teams. It was quite close, but Paper X, they just had this one down pat. Just such a great pickup on that Trevenant at the end there.
Yeah, you can clearly see there's a reason why Paper Rex was the #1 team coming out from the group. The fact that they've got that vision to really follow up on the initiation from Rebombs there, right? A great pickup on the Trevenant. Ultimately taking down ULAP meant that it just, once you have a numbers advantage, the Rayquaza fight seeming to be so much easier, right, in some of these fights. Looking at the damage numbers, though, HT not doing a lot of damage, but it's good enough to secure the Rayquaza, Kello, and that was enough for them to win the second game.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, here's the thing. It felt like there was a lot happening this match. Obviously, in terms of the numbers, it isn't exactly, demonstrated. I mean, there was also a surrender there, but I think HT on the Cerulege, when going up against this Buzzwole, being able to use their Phantom Forces at the right time to dodge those moves, and that way they don't actually get grasped and then succumb to the combos that Buzzwole ends up bringing, was very, very well played for them. But yeah, I think once again, Yamu and Yang working together along with Rebongs, just the double ice stun and the amount of damage coming from this Blaziken, and I mean, tie it up with an Inteleon, once again, just their draft was actually very, very well picked from the get-go.
Definitely was. I think once they join forces, like you mentioned in some of the mid games, if you either get stunned by the Whirlpool, right, or you get stunned by the Ice Fang, there's no way to escape. I'm going to have a look at the replays now, and from the get-go, you can see how huge Yelena got in terms of the levels, able to really run through that top side, and then the fight for that basement Reggie, and I think a lot of the momentum has come to Paper Rex actually securing these Regirocks. Because not only do they give you a bit of shield, maybe a bit of healing, and also the defense buffs, right, from these Regirocks, but also just if you can get a good pick off the KOs, you got to be able to get some dunks into the bottom as well, right? And it seems like in this game at least, both these teams love fighting in this bottom side of the map.
Yeah.
No love to Reggie Alecki. It's all about who can get the better of one another in this bottom side.
Oh, yeah, there was just so much action happening down here. And you know what? Even if Reg Ice isn't exactly the most favored basement Reggie, it is still going to provide that global experience towards the whole team, along with that HP regen just to go and sustain the action even longer. But yeah, I think Paper Rex just works so well together. As I mentioned, just Solo being able to chip out so much damage, Suicune being able to stun and then allow Blaziken to just come in and plow through.
Definitely. We're going to have a look at how they were able to zone out Code Unknown Fibonacci there, and then when they saw that they were all zoned out, they just committed to that rip. You can see Yelena's the only actually player on the side of Code Unknown that was actually in the pit to try to secure with the Ultra Soul Slam. But when you've got the damage from Snipe Shot, Revenant Ren, the Blaziken overheat, you know, and the Mamo jumping in, it's you have to be very lucky, I think, to get it with your Buzzsaw attack. So, a fantastic set that we get to watch there. We're going to have more action coming up. We did have Onyx Rise taking down Issen Regio Callo on the other side of the winner's semi-final. So, it's going to be Onyx Rise against Paper Rex in the winner's finals. One last hurdle before we get into that grand final stage. So, very exciting stuff, but I think we're going to take a quick break as we get that set up. So, don't get anywhere, folks. Lots more heavy packed action here to come. Heyo, welcome back to the Unity Clash Summer Showdown 2025 Day 2 broadcast. My name is Mifu, I'm here with Kelosaurus, and we're going to be bringing you guys the action for the winners finals. A very tense matchup between Onyx Rise and Paper Rex. We watched Paper Rex beforehand and watched a little bit of Onyx Rise yesterday. And from what I can tell, Kelo, we've got some team profile introductions so that everyone at home watching knows who these players are.
Yes, so first up we have the team profile for Paper Rex. On their roster, as we saw previously, HT, Solo, Yang, Nightmare, Foxy, and Yamu. Their achievements this year were becoming the Malaysian Singapore champions, hence heading to Worlds in Anaheim. They also came 8th in the Asia Champions League as well. Otherwise, they actually ended up winning the Summer Showdown last year for Asia as well. So, I mean, we'll have to see whether they can take this title back to back.
Yeah, fond memories because I remember they played 5 defenders in a very memorable match. I think they were named MIS back in the day, and you can see some of the match results from their performance so far. Looks like a clean sweep against a lot of these teams, and they were able to take out Splash today 2-1. They played 5 speedsters in one of those games, by the way, and then a clean sweep of the Code Unknown Fibonacci as well. So definitely a team to watch, right? Especially for those other teams that are also going to Worlds. Paper X definitely not a team to underestimate. They've been very dominant in this tournament.
Yeah, but otherwise, on the other hand, we have Onyx Rise. So they are also champs for their country, coming first for Indonesia. I'm sure we'll end up getting that graphic up there shortly for you folks. So Onyx Rise, the roster, we have Eeyore, XQ, Cell, Luna, and Zoe.
Yeah, really strong players as well. We saw Eeyore pop off on that Zorak yesterday, and no shy of their achievements as Indonesia champions, 11th placement ACL. So these teams have been playing against each other, I think, in the Asia Champions League as well, and they also came 3rd in the World Championship Series in Hawaii last year, and so definitely a very experienced on the other hand as well. I mean, last year's Worlds, Kelo, I just remember Asia teams playing so brilliantly, so definitely they were looking for a second comeback. But do you want to take us through how Onyx Rise has performed in the Summer Showdown 2025?
Yeah, so I guess just like Paper Rex, they've only just, they have lost against High Five there, but I was going to say they ended up losing 1 game to Eastern Red Joe, going 0-2 against High Five. Otherwise, every single other team they have gone against, Code Unknown Fibonacci, Splash, Nymera, and Eastern Red Joe, they've gone 2-0, so the clean sweeps across the board.
Yeah, they've done very well as well, and I think production has just told us that this is actually a rematch of a Summer Showdown Asia set that we had last year. So how time flies, and I'm sure these teams are very excited to play each other again. And now the stakes are really high, Kilo. Whoever wins gets a first look at the throne in the grand finals of today's competition. And the other one has to go down to the losers bracket to play one more team. So we're going to get that started for you folks. The action is here. Onyx Rise against Paper Rex. How are they going to draft against each other?
Oh, I'm wondering whether we're going to end up seeing any Zoroark action, since both of these squads do play Zoroark. But first up, we do have to get these bans. So Umbreon, do not want to deal with that, especially if you're going to be picking up a Zoroark, But be interested to see whether any of them prioritize Alchemy.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's really up to Paper Rex whether they want to give Onyx Rise the Alchemy here, being second pick. They will. They ban out Rapidash and also Suicune getting on the chopping block. So I'm not going to be surprised if Zoe picks up the Alchemy here. We'll wait for confirmation. There we go, with leftovers and all. And that means Paper Rex gets a first look at 2 Pokemons they may want. I mean, Blaziken, Kalo, right, is great here. Clefable is up on the table. Psyduck, of course. Of course, that's what they're going to be picking.
Yeah, Psyduck makes sense. Just the amount of disruption this little yellow duck can bring is something that you want to have on your team, but also just the ability to yoink your opponents back or push them away with Psychic. But over on the other side, we actually have 2 supporters. So Luna has decided to pick up this Clefable. For the time being, they don't have any experience share, but obviously there's still that chance to put that up come the final preparations. But hey, maybe we might actually end up seeing a damage clef come this game.
Oh, damage clef will be pretty insane, but I think one of the reasons why Luna might have picked up this clef is just to take out all sorts of healing, right? Apart from your Elder Gods, which is rarely played anymore, and that leaves Paper Rex really susceptible to longer team fights. But that's okay though, because they're playing Blaziken and Trevenant, which has a huge amount of self-sustain. And we saw kind of like a double supporter in the western side for a little while. NAIC saw, Hooper and Clefable being played in some of the games as kind of like a double supporter, lots of healing, lots of sustain, and you definitely need it, Kello, for something like a Serena and also a Fire Spin Armor Rouge.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So picking that on up there. We do have the some switches happening here. So unfortunately, folks, no damage clef here. Zoe is going to pick that one up and put experience share. However, they are stacking the special attack spec. So looking to just boast that Moonlight Healing, which I think pairs really well with a Fire Spin Armor Rouge and a Zarina as well.
Yeah, definitely. And HT on the Mew now, definitely the opposite of a Zora, but will allow them to have that double range, right? Which is going to be outranging something like a Armor Rouge, Cinderace, and Serena. And this is actually a decent strategy, I think, because Serena is not the best Pokemon to have a, really easy access to the backline. It's not like Leafeon that you can just lock on and go in. You have to get close enough for your Queenly Ascent to actually hit. And if you can consistently hit your snipe shots and your beams on it, it might be a tough job, I think, for the Serena to actually go through. Armor Rouge probably suffers from the same problem. If you don't hit your side shot, you're going to be running it down. But if they all avoid that little circle killer of damage, I mean, it's going to be a really good day for Paper Rex.
No, I think that's the thing. Inteleon still has pretty good maneuverability with that Fell Stinger to get itself out of the way. And same with Mew with that light screen or agility move. I mean, even a Surf to just go and disrupt whatever is coming towards them. So, be interesting to see how this team composition plays on out and where we're going to have these members going in. But there we go, folks. We are heading into our first game of the winners final. Whoever ends up winning this set is going to progress on through to the grand finals. But Onyx Rise on the purple, Paper Rex on the orange.
Yeah, really weak bottom part here for Onyx Rise, having a Clefairy and a Shardacoat, which don't really provide a lot of range or sustain at all. You can see a desperated 7 trying to get in from Onyx Rise is going to be actually able to knock them out. It's going to be Paper Rex, and that's going to be our first KO of our game of 1.
Now, up in the top side, we still have level 3s across the board. Bounsweet and this Milcery looking for an evolution. Now that we have a Steenie online with Eeyore up here to go and assist them, it'll be interesting to see what movements Paper Rex are going to do. And, as I say that, I can actually see Mew on the mini-map heading up towards this top path.
Oh, they need every sort of, support they can have, right? Especially going into members that they know they probably can KO if they get lucky. Especially the Steenie needing level 6 before they can actually run through. Helping Hand quickly going onto Eeyore to make sure the attacks come in fast succession, but they suffer from the same problem here. Reboot needing that Cinderace before they can fight by themselves, but the damage is coming in though. The eject will get popped quickly from Paper Rex as they are able to coach away safely.
It's really going to come down to this Milcery reaching that Alcremie phase, because that Decorate is going to help this Reboot soon to become that Cinderace along with those basic attacks to go and dish out that damage. However, for the time being, it's just a matter of securing whatever wild Pokemon is on the field. We have 5 seconds left to go until those mid-birds, but Yemu, they're going to focus on getting these attack weight stacks up first.
They are, as they look for their Blaziken evolution. Huge snipe coming out from Solo, almost takes them down as Mew gets the KO onto Clefable down in the bottom part there. You can clearly see the levels going in the direction of Paper Rex. They're going to be able to soak up all the Altaros and Swablu's as well. And what's dangerous is Blaziken is on the verge of that level 8, on the verge of having access to all 4 of their moves.
Yeah, all 4 of the moves and a lot of stacks their way as well. So this Blaziken is something we are going to have to watch out for. Otherwise, it's going to be a clean break from the side of Paper X. HT dunking in that 30. So no overdunks. Otherwise, down in this bottom path, as we can see on that little map, is 5 members of Onyx Rise trying to break this tier 1 pad. And they have successfully managed to do that. So creating so much space as we have both of these objectives about to spawn.
Yeah, when the top side of the map is so empty and overtaken by the Blaziken, there's only one option, right, which is quickly overload the bottom. We're going to have a Regieleki on the top half getting pocketed by Yamu there, so Paper Rex able to get that, but down at the bottom, probably another objective that both these teams want is going to be this Reggie steal, but despite all this, it is going to be only the double supporters on Onyx Rise that actually comes to look at this, and as quickly as they can, Kello, Alchemy gets them back to the home pad immediately.
Yeah, well, Alchemy without a host there, I mean, it's kind of like Comfey, right? It's really squishy. It can't really look after itself. And, well, Clefable isn't exactly going to do much protecting or damage up against multiple members of Paper X, but securing both of these objectives for themselves, being able to break both of these tier 1 pads, Paper X are in the lead at 186 to 117.
They definitely have the lead now, and when you have scalers such as the Blaziken and the Inteleon, it's very dangerous to give them those levels. Clefable is in no man's land right now, probably emulating Icarus here, but flying a little bit too close to the sun, and the sun being solo on the Inteleon, able to auto it down with rebongs as well. So a bit of an interesting decision, maybe just for the stacks, Kello. So they're playing for that long game, getting that healing stack so they can heal more later on. Not too sure about that decision.
I mean, I guess they're not really going to give much experience over to the other side, so sometimes you just have to in for those stacks whenever you can. But yeah, interesting choice to go down in that bottom tier 2 pad instead of heading up to the top where there is tier 1 available. But, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, not having jump pad available, but you know what? 15 seconds left to go until those jump pads available. See what Onyx Rise decide to do here as looks like they're clumping towards this top path.
Well, folks, it might be a huge 5-on-5 action pack as everyone has their Unite moves now. Psyche on as Cell uses the Queen Ascendant to avoid all the other damage. And now we have Unite move popping left and right. The Saya Yikes come through into the flying bicycle kick to deal that damage. And yet no one on either team has fallen so far. Huge beam from HT and able to get that KO onto that Blaziken though as they fall quickly down. It is going to be Onyx Rise that's coming together in a death war action, able to push out Paper X as they get another KO onto Rebongs. And here comes Eeyore now, spamming the auto attacks. They take a KO Sugar 2, they make a KO Sugar 3, taking down Psyduck as well. What a change of events. The momentum has shifted right on the side of Onyx Rise.
This is where Onyx Rise composition really shines, being able to just stick together, support each other, and let those damage dealers do whatever they have to do. Aluna on the Alchemy, as I said, just boasting Eeyore's damage there to get up multiple KOs, and Clef being able to heal them up. But because they did take a bit of time to pivot down onto this bottom path, can they go and steal this Reggie Rock? No, they cannot.
Well, it's going to be a fever dream there, I think, but they will have a first look at Rebonds, though, as Rebond has to use the Horn Leech, but puts themselves in a scary position here. Blaze Kick to take them down, and you can really feel the attack speed boost now from that enhanced Blaze Kick as well. Those folks that play in the Rage know that as soon as you get Blaze Kick Plus, those auto attacks become like a turret. And here comes Zoe, bit of deja vu moments. 4 members of Paper Rex against the Clefable. Who takes it out? It is going to be ultimately Zoe, still struggling to stay in the fight, Kello. I mean, at least they got another stack, right?
Yes, they got us another stack. I don't know whether it was worth it again, but as I said, I mean, deja vu. Sometimes you just have to in for the stacks. Otherwise, Trevenant looks to be caught out here. Eeyore being able to dodge that snipe shot from that Inteleon. A good stun onto Eeyore, but they didn't end up getting their KO as that Fell Stinger is able to save them. But huge beams, huge snipes coming across the way from Paper Rex here.
It's actually a scary, I guess, premise now for Paper Rex because they don't really have consistent damage on their side apart from maybe the Blaziken. Mew and Inteleon are great at burst, but burst is something that Clefable and Alchemy love, right? You burst it down, you're going to be able to heal them back up. And with both the Moonlight and also the Unite move for Alchemy ready to go, this is going to be a really interesting Rayquaza fight. I think they need to be able to pick out the Cinderace, maybe on Paper Rex. If not, Armarouge and Serena is going to be just spinning their way through the team. We're going to have one last look at a Regieleki Ghatlue before the final stretch comes in, and it definitely looks like it's going to go on the side of Onyx Rise.
Oh, 12 seconds left to go. This is probably where that final stretch fight is going to happen. Huge Horn Leech from Rebongs to go and put up that Forest, get a stun. However, they're unable to take down any members of Onyx Rise because Kremi is here to go and save the day. Snipe shots trying to chip away a lot of damage, but we can see that Zarina is on the chase, on the hunt, but Mew popping their Unite move is able to be saved.
Wow, what a fight, and only one member down from the side of Onyx Rise. Armarouge still have their Unite moves ready to go, and we have HT even surviving the Queenly Ascendant as well, having used their Mystical Mirage to stay in the fight. So, when all the dust is settled, we do still have a Psyduck Unite, but Armarouge is coming back now inside of Onyx Rise. Their points aren't differing by that much, as Eeyore looks to play a bit of football up in that top side, trying to avoid these snipe shots, and here comes another engagement. The second Rayquaza fight. Immediately, we have Rebonds going down, and here comes the Blazion Right ejecting for the Alchemy, and they wrap around to try to get any sort of KOs possible. Keller, we're playing musical chairs right now between these two teams.
A minute left to go as we have Rayquaza getting chipped away by Cell, but it looks like they're going to leave that dive onto the Yantelion, who doesn't have any protection. Yang there to go and save them. But even then, Onyx Rise, they don't actually need to chip away this at Rayquaza. It's at half HP as the Sai is going to come on out, try to reduce the damage that is coming forth. Unfortunately, it just isn't enough as Onyx Rise is able to take down 2 members so far. 3 members, and well, they have a chance to secure this Rayquaza, but both of these snipes are available. Never mind, Inteleon has been taken down along with this Mew, and Onyx Rise are going to run away with this game as Paper Rex are going to wave that white flag.
What an action-packed final minute and a half there. From the get-go, it was just a tug of war right between these teams. Yes, you lose a member, but then you get another pick, another KO, and both these teams just trying to find a way to slowly build up their momentum in that fight. Ultimately, Onyx Rise rises to the occasion, literally, and Eeyore surviving all of that, able to grab both the MVP and also the Rayquaza at the end. I mean, if this is what the set is going to be like, Hello, I think we're all in for an absolute treat, aren't we?
Oh, 100%. No pun intended, especially because they do have that Alchemy on their side. But I'm going to say Alchemy paired up with Cinderace. I feel like this is a match made in heaven. Cinderace just getting that shielding to go and sustain if they do end up getting caught on out. But just that extra damage boost that they get on their basics and boosted attacks pairs so well. And even then, Zoe on the Clefable, we can see why the supporter has been banned multiple times here during the summer showdown as they managed to recover 113k.
Yeah, it's really nuts, right? We're going to have a look at what happened in that last game. You can see just from the get-go that the bot path was much weaker on side of Onyx Rise, but they didn't really care about it. And speaking of not caring, Zoe also not caring about going down as long as they were able to get the healing up. Which really paid off. Yeah, it paid off at the end. Because along with their fluffy Cream Supreme from the Alchemy, they were able to really keep their teammates in that fight, right? And this is one of the huge 5-on-5 fights in the mid-game. You can see, despite, all the pressure and the beams coming out from Paper Rex, it was really Onyx Rise in the end that came out on top because no one can take it down this Armarouge when you have Zoe just by them side, right? The fire spin overlap with the Moonlight. It's just a great way to keep everyone, really aggressive in that fight. And they ended up breaking that top pad, and Eeyore got that level 13 off this fight after taking down the Regieleki.
I think, yeah, you mentioned it. There was just so much long-range damage coming from Paper Rex, but it just didn't affect Onyx Rise's composition at all. The way that you can just see in all of these highlights, the fact that they are pretty much sticking together. It's either a whole 5 together or at least 4 together, which just really paid off well. And, having that Moonlight to go and heal the team whenever they do get chipped away. Just Alchemy. The amount of healing it actually provides during this Unite move is insane. Plus, paired up with a Buddy Barrier to give up the extra shielding for that team, really worked in Onyx Rise's favor.
Yeah, and I just have actually the description of Decorate up for me, and I just want to quickly read you a line from it, and why I agree with how you said it's just a match made in heaven for something like a Cinderace. Because every single time Decorate is used, right, the basic and boosted attacks by any Pokemon that's shielded will deal additional damage and increase Alchemy's Sweet Gauge. And when Alchemy's Sweet Gauge is activated, it will deal even more damage to anyone that's unshielded. So something like a Cinderace that has that Decorate on is going to be able to do mass amount of damage. And don't forget the attack speed increase from your Blaze Kick. I mean, Eel was a running turret, right, around there. So a great way to go through.
Well, we did hear a word from production, but I did not hear that one, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll get that message to you soon, folks. But here we go as we head on into this second round. Blissey and Umbreon have landed themselves that ban slot up first. And you know what? It makes sense for Clefable to get banned on out here too.
Yeah, and the message from production was that it was MYS that took it out last year. So, I mean, Onyx Rise definitely has a bit of, I guess, friendly rivalry going on. Definitely want to take it out 2-0 if they can, at least cement themselves in the grand finals for this competition, improving their performance last year. But we're going to quickly look into game number 2's draft. I mean, Alchemy's available, Kello, but Paper Rex, they don't even want it.
Yeah, they're actually going to prioritize Rapidash instead. That got banned last round. So Rapidash can definitely dish out a lot of damage and going unpunished with the speed and the passive that it has. So looks like Onyx Rise, they're going to prioritize this Alchemy instead, along with this Blaziken, and taking that away from Paper Rex.
Yeah, this is very interesting because we do have Duck available now, so Yang will be able to pick it up for the team. I'm just considering, you know, whether it's a better trade-off for something like a Rapidash Duck in response, giving away Blaziken and Alchemy. We'll wait to find out and how this game goes, but Rebongs is not going to hesitate to pick up this Mamoswine as well, even though Trevenant is up. So, Keller, this game is filled with so many surprises. I think teams are really locking in, especially on Paper Rex's side, to play a decent game. Sylveon?
Yeah, Sylveon is an interesting one. I'm wondering if we're going to end up seeing a Mystical Fire's Sylveon here, considering they have the Rapidash over on their side. We actually had this discussion yesterday. I remember there was a Hyper Voice Sylveon, but we're like, you know what? I think Mystical Fire would actually probably work out better, considering the chase that it has, the ability to dodge with its leap, but also the special attack reduction that it has with that Mystical Fire. But yeah, I'd say it'll end up being this unless we have another special attacker being picked on up by Onyx Rise to shred up that special defense. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this ends up panning out with double evolutions.
Yeah, this is very interesting as well, especially with a triple damage item from the AXQ. They could be going that Hyper Voice to really shred down the Mamoswine, the Psyduck, and the Aegis Slash. But then, like you mentioned, there's no real Pokemon to benefit off the special defense reduction, so maybe Mystical Fire is going to be what they choose. We'll wait to find out, but Eos going to pick up another evolution here in the form of Leafeon, and that's going to provide that early game advantage, right? And to kind of combat the agility that Solo actually provides for the team on that Rapidash as well. This is actually the first game I'm going to be able to watch a Rapidash play, I think, in the games that have been casted for this tournament. So yeah, maybe we'll find out why this Pokemon has been banned so much.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see it come out to play here as well today, because I don't think I've been able to see it. I mean, we've had our answers, our prayers answered with a lot of Alchemy gameplay here today, but yeah, it's really going to come down to this early game phase. I think Ponyta, especially up in that top path, having that movement speed increase can really benefit Solo, especially if they are going to be stacking those special attack specs. Special attack specs?
Special attack specs, that's right. Well, all glasses on. We're all going to Specsavers here as we have Solo down in the bottom path with Rebonds there. And I think once this Rapidash comes online, Kello is going to be able to pivot up into that top path and really provide that additional support, right? And perhaps run through this torching and stop it from evolving that early.
We'll have to wait how this one pans on out as we have Snorlax and Eevee, soon to become a Sylveon, going up against Ponyta and Mamoswine. And, well, Mamoswine is not letting this Snorlax try to get away, but they're going to fight on back with a big old tackle of themselves. And thanks to Aluna's Guts passive there, back at full HP with just one berry.
Well, that's all you need sometimes, right? One berry and the Snorlax is ready to go. They're going to be spinning around the middle, getting vision for the team, especially for Eeyore now on that fully fledged Leafeon, trying to see what they can poke out the enemy team. Sylveon, not the strongest in the early game, but with that level 4, it will have its own little sustain. What really requires level is Yamu on this Honed Steel. Probably not going to be as strong, and with only the Cerulege coming up, they're going to be careful here not to go down.
Yeah, but you can see not too far behind. Oh, no, never mind. They've actually decided to go down into this bottom part. So it's only Milcery and Torchic up against 3 members. Dewblade is now online, and Paper Rex, they do have the advantage with the levels and the numbers, which means they're able to dunk in all of their Eos energy, leading the match so far at 50 points to 0.
And that's going to be good enough for Alchemy to hit the fray here for Onyx Rise. And as the Sylveon comes in, this is a different Alchemy. This is the little cupcake one, isn't it? This is Recover is the correct move name, and that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, interesting to see Recover come out to play this time round instead of Decorate. I guess the downside with Recover, it doesn't end up providing the shield that Decorate does have, but I guess you can compare it to a Blissey. It's like a soft-boiled, or even actually a mixture of Eldegoss, because it does leave those little whipped cream pieces on the ground for any of those allies to go and pick it on up. Otherwise, we have a Rapidash that has evolved here, able to take down Alchemy. Torchic and Leafeon not able to save it. Instead, they're going to look at saving themselves by Leafeon using their Unite move and taking down that Piloswine with them.
Oh, well, this is the power of Mystical Fire, right? Able to just chain the damage and as well as dash and match the mobility that Rapidash has. We have a trade now from the top side, the Leafeon going down in lieu of the Cerulege, and we're going to have a quick fight now for the Otaro family, going out so quickly as the Blades need to push in Yamu, but Yamu actually allows themselves to evolve there with that KO from the Rapidash, and this is going to be a good advantage from Paper Rex. They're going to look to break this top pad as soon as possible. 16 overdunk, and also a free Sylveon KO as well.
Yeah, taking out that Sylveon gives them the chance to go and shred down this Regieleki, but they're just going to leave this job to HT, who's quickly shredded on down. You can see on the mini-map that the rest of them are going to pivot out towards that bottom path. Meanwhile, Rapidash is just looking to cause some chaos in their opposite central area.
Yeah, Solo trying to grab a buff if they can, and we're going to have a quick look at this bottom goal zone. They can see only 2 members of Onyx Rise there, as members are still coming down in, and with that quick Sweet Scent, it's going to be able to deter some members out. Full heal coming out from Alchemy to stop the Ice Fang as Rebounds gets chunked down quickly. The Draining Kiss not letting them move away that much, but Focus Band comes in clutch, able to save them from that fight.
Yeah, I can see where Alchemy's gone for this Sweet Scent instead this time around, because it does end up lowering the movement speed, which I think is a great counter when you have a Rapidash running forth towards you. But, I mean, really, it's going to come down to Solo to just dodge, even though it's a big AoE area that Sweet Scent provides. I think, you know, a lot of the time they're going to be able to go and avoid that, but otherwise an engage here from Aluna onto Rebongs, being able to get the Yawn. However, Rebongs is able to Earthquake out of that one.
Yeah, it's yet again the battle of the defenders, right? Who can get the better engage for the team, as Yang looks to try to get vision of where Eeyore is. Big Psychic in, not able to save themselves, as that's the first Pokemon to go down. We do have a little dollop of Recover come in. Fun fact, the passive on Snorlax also works with these little cupcakes, so they do additional HP. Yeah, they do.
Oh, well, there we go. I actually didn't know that. That's really interesting. So that actually pairs up really well with the Snorlax. And you can see why they've gone for that composition. Otherwise, 20 seconds left to go until both of the second objectives spawn on up. At the moment, it's a little bit scattered between these teams, but we do have a bit of an engage from Luna, but there's nobody waiting in that tall grass. But still, it's better safe than sorry instead of letting your other members dive on in first.
Whoa, it's so crazy. They're actually using Recover as a vision getter, just like the Feint attack on Sableye. That's quite interesting. Or they're setting up. I'm not really sure how that interaction works. We can see two little cupcakes just waiting for their teammates to pick up. But otherwise, we do have a Reggie steal here for these teams to fight for. Big yawn onto Yang. Not able to follow up is going to be Onyx Rise, but it's going to be chunking down this Reggie steal as Paper Rex looks to grab this in. No one is going to be close enough from Onyx Rise to actually get there, but it doesn't matter. They do have the consolation prize as a Reggie Lecky now, walking up in that top half.
Yeah, but you can see on the minimap, Rapidash has decided to go jump up into that top path, while Leafeon has decided to pivot down towards the bottom and potentially take some buffs. 10 points difference between these two teams. Looks like Onyx Rise are looking for a big fight push here on this tier 1 as they're going to pop all of their Unite moves. The coup de grace is going to come on out as well as two members of Onyx Rise end up collapsing along. And it's a big old trade-off between the all-rounders there.
Yeah, 2 for 2, I think, at the bottom side, and the cupcakes quickly eaten up by the team, but not able to sustain themselves. What is sustained, though, is going to be AXQ, who has been just dancing around, dealing down with the Mystical Fire, which will be a really good way to consistently chunk down the all-rounders on the side of Paper Rex. Paper Rex still have their Reggie still buff for a little bit longer, so they might look for another push if they have the opportunity. But with the Rayquaza spawning so close, I think the better, I guess, option is to soak up some of these experiences.
Yeah, there is a lot of yellow dots towards that top side of the map, so it's just a matter of guarding these tier 1 pads with all of their might, not going to go and expose themselves, but Yang with that psychic Psyduck are able to pull out a Luna into the open, but no follow-up just yet as Overheat is going to charge, but Paper Rex are wise enough to go and dodge that, instead prioritizing those birds. I think it ended up being a share between the two there.
Yeah, it was definitely a share. You can see Solo going in for a cheeky little back cap, and as soon as they see vision of all 5 members, which all 5 members of Onyx Rise are in the bottom path, they will be going in for that dunk. And it will push them into a further lead, which is, I think, what Paper Rex likes to have going into something like a final stretch. We're going to have another engage here. I'm sure Rebonks' focus ban is probably going to be close to popping there, as Blaziken looks to be maybe the first to fall. Blaziken to go through. They still keep themselves sustained. And here comes the Emerald 2-step, actually, Kello, that takes down the Aegis Slash. And it's going to be Onyx Rise that have the power to flip this basement Reggie, but they are noting the not enough time, right? As the dragon will be spawning now. Half HP all around for Onyx Rise, but they don't care. They're going to go in for a huge yawn. And here comes the engage. Huge eject. Fluffy Cream Supreme right in the middle of the map and soaks up the Revenant Ren. And speaking of soaking up, Snorlax is having a big nap in the midst of it all. Triad Blaze gets knocked out by Leafeon, and Onyx Rise slowly but surely is going to be chunking Paper Rex down. Can they take revenge on what happened last year? They're going to be looking for it because 4 members are down. Hello, we're going to be ripping that Rayquaza.
Yeah, looking to rip it. There's Ceruledge left standing as we have AXQ and the Snorlax trying to deal with them. The other 3 members are shredding on this Rayquaza, and no one from Paper Rex is in sight. Sylveon being the first to dunk there with that 100 points means that Onyx Rise surely taking this lead at 146 to 436 with a minute left to go.
Really good decision making from Onyx Rise to just capitalize on both these teams rushing into the pit. Yeah, there were not a lot of HP on the members, but they knew they had the secret weapon, which is that Alchemy Unite and those little recover cupcakes as well. We're gonna have a final 45 seconds as it counts down, but I think undoubtedly it has I just moved past that point of no return, right, what you mentioned before, where there's just such point disparity that it doesn't seem like Paper Rex can come back on this.
No, even with 2 members down, Onyx Rise are just gonna go and boost their stats here, looking for some more KOs and some dunks as Eeyore is looking for a 100 dunk. No, they end up getting frozen and interrupted. That was really close there. So I guess it's just these 2 teams just playing with each other. Paper Rex don't want to pop up the surrender. Instead, just playing it on out. But yeah, interesting turn of events there. Onyx Rise being able to take this set 2-0 against Paper Rex. So definitely a different story from last year's Summer Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an Onyx Rise fan, we're in the ideal timeline now, aren't we? We've secured ourselves that first spot in the grand finals, but all is not lost for Paper Rex. They are going to be having a one last chance, right, in the lower bracket. They're going to be going up against the winner of the losers semifinals, and then they will have another chance if they do win that to go back into the grand finals and fight Onyx Rise once more. But from that, man, what a great clash between both these teams. You can see the healing that Zoe has done this time using Recover, going up against quite an even damage spread from the side of Paper Rex as well. So really good game. And oh my gosh, look at how close it was, Kello.
Yeah, it was pretty much neck and neck between these two teams, each of them being able to pick up a Regieleki along with that basement Reggie. It was only the 10 points difference in the end, and Rayquaza being able to go and secure that one allowed them to just go and skyrocket. But you know what? That was actually a really fun set to watch between these two squads. Keen to see the highlights package that we have as well.
I mean, Onyx Rise definitely very happy with their performance. Taking in game number 1, game number 2 was no different. They were keeping up their aggression as well. And I really like the pairing between Leafeon and Sylveon, because both these members can do sustained damage, right? And also chase after enemies, but able to finish them as well if they get the opportunity to. Even though Paper Rex tried their best to keep themselves aggressive up in the early game, you know, getting some KOs coming out from Ceruledge there, but at the end of the day, the combination between the Blaziken and the double evolution just was too much for Paper Rex to handle.
I think one thing I love about these storylines is you actually get to see the growth of the squad. So yes, last year we had Paper Rex, previously known as MYS, being able to defeat Onyx Rise, that 2-0 in that winners final, but Onyx Rise being able to do that to them just shows their growth and their progression as a team. Which we absolutely love to see. And that's the thing, Paper Rex, they're known as such a strong contender. They have played so well so far in the Summer Showdown, really pretty much having the perfect run. They were top of their groups, and I mean, to be taken down by Onyx Rise, who was second seed in their group stage, must be a really, like, it must feel really pleasant to Onyx Rise right now. A massive achievement for them, indeed.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also at the same time really crazy that these two teams find themselves in the winners finals again after a year as well. So they've definitely just kept their dominance in their respective regions, and in something like a international, right, inter-Asia competition, still able to prove themselves that this is going to be the Rayquaza fight, right? You can see the Alcremie Unite move able to keep so many people healed up in that fight. And yes, we had the Rapidash come through to kind of take down the Leafeon, but it just wasn't enough as Leafeon looks to just run through. And with that, they were able to knock out all but one. I mean, at that situation, Kello, I think the best scenario is just rip it, right? You do have Blaziken secure.
I'm wondering if we're going to end up seeing any more Alcremie bands moving on forth in the Summer Showdown here today, because I have a feeling like letting Alcremie loose out on the field, especially with its Unite move and the fact that it's actually pretty versatile, considering you can use both movesets there. I feel like it warrants a ban.
I think so too, and I think that these teams, maybe yesterday, right, we saw a decent amount of Alcremie bans, but today, when it matters the most, I think for these teams, Alcremie definitely is a huge game changer. We're going to take a quick break, folks, as we get set up for the losers finals, and it's been confirmed. It's looking for Org has actually taken down Coda, known Fibonacci. So they have made an incredible losers run, getting knocked out from the winners quarterfinals, now all the way finding themselves in one last chance to earn themselves a matchup against Onyx Rise. So we'll be right back as we get that set up. Don't get anywhere. You do not want to miss any of this action.
And hello everybody, welcome back to the Unity Clash Summer Showdown. I'm Kello, this is Fu. It has been a day and a half. Well, actually, yeah, because we're halfway through day 2. But how are you finding today going so far, Fu?
I think it has been absolutely fantastic, right? The action just gets better and better. And it makes sense because these are the top teams of that Inter-Asia region. Obviously, when they clash, it's going to be a bit more than just your regular Pokemon Unite. And from what we've talked about behind the scenes, this is kind of like a huge throwback, huge deja vu moment of what happened in 2024. Except, you know, it's shifted a little bit. Onyx Rise has taken it over Paper Rex now. And Paper Rex going against Looking for Org, which I think it's Elevate, right, from last year.
Yes, some of the members have Elevate.
Yeah, so it's going to be another action-packed series.
Oh, yeah, 100% for our losers final. Whoever does end up winning this set is going to find themselves a spot in that grand final to go up against Onyx Rise. But first, before we head on into that match, we actually have some statistics that we would like to show you all here today. So first up, we do have this gorgeous graphic there. Love the Tinkaton, by the way. But this is the most banned Pokemon that we've had in the tournament so far. So, I mean, I am seeing a lot of yellow backgrounds here for you.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'm actually surprised that Clefable has taken the lead over Alchemy, but it definitely does make sense. Yeah, by one. But it definitely does make sense that both, you know, all these supporters are being banned out, because this is really kind of like the supporter meta, right? It's just the enables that these Pokemon can provide to the team is just so broken. You know, some of the other Pokemon these supporters are going to be like all-rounders like this Blaziken, but only banned out 3 times.
Yeah, Blaziken only banned. I'm actually really surprised we're seeing Pikachu up here in the top 10 most banned.
It's yellow.
Received themselves three bans. I guess, yeah, secretly a supporter there, but there we go. The top 10 most played Pokemon, Blaziken is at the top there with 22 pickups there, and Psyduck not too far behind with 21. But even then, I'm looking at these win rates. Blaziken's win rate is 59%.
It's kind of really crazy. And Psyduck on the other end is actually less than 50%, even though it's been picked up 60% of the time. And Snorlax is definitely by far the most favorited defender, right? Going above your Mamoswine, your Trevenant, and your Umbreon. And you can see Mamoswine doesn't even make the list, despite what we saw. Plenty of Mamoswines today. Trevenant is actually going to be one underneath Umbreon as well. So this is why I like casting these, I guess, regions that are not part of OC, because this is very different to what we see in the OC region. We're going to have a quick look at top 5 Pokemon's played as well, and by role, it seems, Blaziken, Inteleon. I mean, Psyduck is the most played supporter, Kello.
Yeah, Psyduck being the most played support is very interesting, but I guess that's because we have seen a lot of Clefable and Alcremie bans. So Psyduck seems to just be slipping its way through there, even though it is such a nuisance. Maybe in this current meta, it's just not as worthy as a ban as once it used to be. But yeah, interesting to see that Trevenant is up there. I did see on that previous stat page as well. Just wanted to point out, it had a 91% win rate out of these 12 pickups. So Trevenant really standing tall as a tree in this current meta.
Yeah, it really is. Speaks this quickly as well. Is 15 Leafeon games picked up from these players, and Rapidash very popular, and I think this is yet again the reason why it's been banned is because players love to play in this region as a speedster. I think it's just a better Dodrio because of its unstoppable passive, and you know, definitely when you don't have these two Pokemon, then the Zora comes in with the Comfy, etc. So really good graphic. I think big shout out to Unity Clash for providing this. I think it gives a lot of information to the tournament that we're actually hosting right under this event. So fantastic work. I think that's all. No, more graphics to come. We're going to have an introduction to this matchup, Kello. Looking for Org is going to be filled with players such as JT, I think it's JR Absent, Mira, Dream Tea, which I recognize, and Tempest Tea as well, coming back. Some of these players from Elevate, as we talked about before.
Yeah, that's right. You can see that all of them have played in ACL 2025 there and have come together. And they are actually looking for an organization. So we know in terms of the Asia Champions League, that is all teams that are signed to an organization. So there we go. So far here today, they have managed to, they ended up getting knocked out in that first set and have managed to make their way through till the end through that losers bracket run. It's just a question of whether they can make it on back up to the top there and beat Paper Rex to go up against Onyx in the grand finals.
Yeah, well, they went down 0-2 to Paper Rex in match number 2, so this is kind of like a second chance to see whether they can actually take down one of the Titan teams of the Asia region. We're going to bring up quickly the graphic for the other team, and I think Paper Rex, we already know them, we introduced them last time, a very strong team that has just been beaten by Onyx Rise, but I don't think the flame inside them has been quenched just yet. They definitely are going to be a very strong opponent that looking for Orc has to take down. We're going to jump right into the game now, though, Cal. I'm very excited for this. This is a best of 3 in the lower bracket, right into the draft now, where we see some of those popular Pokemon that we just had a chance to look at in those graphics.
I think the thing to mention here as well is this isn't the first time that Paper Rex and Looking for Org are going up against each other in the Summer Showdown. They were actually in the same group yesterday in Group B, and Paper Rex were able to defeat Looking for Org there. So we'll have to see whether Looking for Org can get some revenge and switch things up. I mean, Onyx Rise have already accomplished that one, or whether Paper Rex are going to use that fuel from that previous match to get that fire burning.
Yeah, and I think these teams probably know how each other play a little bit as well, and Yang picking up this Suicune to get it started off will mean that Blaziken and Psyduck is going to be available for Looking for Org. I mean, this is a probably more of a conventional start, right? Depending on what they want. They actually prefer the Snorlax Kilo over that Psyduck.
Yeah, Snorlax instead of the Psyduck. I mean, even a 91% Trevenant pick, but you can see that Rebongs is hovering over that one, so we'll see if Trevenant does end up getting picked. But yeah, it makes sense. Alcremie getting banned this time round. We were mentioning previously, like, I'm surprised this cream is getting through ever so often, but I mean, so far, all we're seeing is defenders and all-rounders on the board. I mean,
where is the Clefable though? It has teams forgotten about it. It's been banned so much, and although not played much, and it doesn't even make the top 10 played. These teams aren't looking for it yet. We have the Psyduck getting picked up by Looking for Org, and Mira thinking about which sort of speedster they want. Could be that Leafeon locked in for their team.
I saw them hovering over Zero Aura and Meowscarada, and I'm like, there's no way we're gonna get these either of these Pokemon. They didn't even make top 5 in the speedster picks, but yeah, picking up Leafeon boasts such a great early game to only need to get one buff, evolve at that level 4, and go and pressure one of these paths. So I think Mira not wanting to let that one go. Otherwise, we have 3 all-rounders on the side of Paper Rex here. Even though Yang does have that purple background, is going to be running that experience share, so more of that supportive Suicune there. So it'll be interesting to see what Looking for Org round out their composition with here.
I think this is the first time that we've had a matchup where neither of these teams have like a typical healer, right? Even though there are Pokemon such as Comfey and Clefable available, they've actually opted for that, I guess, stun experience share Pokemon such as Yang on the Suicune and Absent on the Psyduck. And now we have an incredible range coming out from Dreamt. And it's going to be difficult, I think, if they can get out of something like a Mimikyu. They're going to have a really decent game because neither the Yemu on the Aegislash or even the Trevenant can actually get to a Snapshot Inteleon, I think, without having the use of an Eject, which Yemu doesn't even have. They're rocking that potion.
Yeah, no, you know what, when you don't have any traditional supporters over on your side, I guess you've just got to look for that sustain wherever you can, a potion, just to give you a quick heal and then allow you to switch into that shield form, and then be able to gather, even more healing, with those following hits. So it'll be interesting to see how this one ends up panning out. I think, you know, seeing the Inteleon last pick, is really interesting to me, considering how tanky Paper Rex are. I mean, yes, we do have Mewtwo Y as that attacker, but we know that it can actually be quite the sustainer in some team comps.
Yeah, it definitely can be as well, and the Infinite Cyber coming out from the Mewtwo Y is also a great way to get vision of where this Inteleon could be hiding. But we're going to get straight in. Paper Rex on your purple team for our losers finals. Game number 1 and LF4 on the orange team. Very strong bot path start for Looking for Org, and they're going to be looking to chunk down Rebonks on that Phantom.
Yeah, they're going to have to chunk him down, but it looks like they're just going to back on away as Dreamt is going to quickly sneak on by, grab that blue buff as Leafeon only needs this red to get that evolution and pressure this top path. Yang has been forced to use their ejector button and has their focus band procced to just give them an extra bit of sustenance. However, it just isn't enough to handle the Leaf Blade that Mira brings here today.
Yeah. Definitely getting punished for pushing up a little bit too far then. This is one of the powers of that red buff as well. Able to slow with every auto attack they've got. A quick little peek down in the bottom path as well. Seems like it's quite on par. Do have a Absent coming on top. Just the support in a 3v2 action. Meanwhile, in the bottom, it's 3v3 actually. My bad, on the top side, and that's going to be allowing JT to come online at level 5 already and having access to that Blaze Kick.
It looks like both teams are just going to play it safe for the time being, grabbing those Swabbers and Altaria and then backing away to their respective paths. But we do have Psyduck using their Surf, trying to get a bit of a stun. That way they can go and out-secure and keep this Honedge at bay. It hasn't actually reached that second evolution yet.
Yeah, still trying to find its second sword, hasn't it? Just waiting with the Suicune patiently. But what Psyduck is doing right now is getting a great vision of the rest of the team. Seeing that they don't have Trevenant yet, it will allow this Leafeon to play a little bit more, as we don't have a lot of crowd control so far. But so far, this is the only player on the side Looking for Org actually contesting for this middle Altaria, because they're going to go for a score down in the bot path, able to get in some dunks. 84 to the name so far, Kello.
Yeah, interesting choice to give up the experience in that middle path. However, that is going to allow Mira on that Leafeon to get in another attack weight stack. But I guess Paper Rex, knowing that there's a lot of points that have gone down in the bot path, they're going to prioritize getting these dunks in the top and breaking that goal.
It really is surprising as well. They've actually opted to break before the 720 mark, which allows an extra rotation of these Indeedis, but they don't even need to take these Indeedis if you can take away and find those KOs, but not before a play rough to come in. And here comes Mira saying, that's enough. I'm going to hit that Chaos Trigger 2 with my Emerald 2-step, and we're going to maybe break that top pad in return, putting it on 9 so that we can get a better overdump but the level's definitely very heavily on the side of looking forward.
Oh, yeah, having this level 9 Leafeon and being able to get in multiple dunks of Eos energy means that they are likely close to getting their Unite move really quickly, even though they have just used it. But they make quick work of that Regieleki. As downstairs, we have a Registeel at a quarter HP. Paper Rex have shredded this one down. LF for Org, nowhere in sight besides the side arc, and a Snorlax to come out of the bush and stop these goals.
Oh, Snorlax, no access to that block just yet, but here comes the Emerald 2-step that you're mentioning. Big delete of the Trevenant in combination with the Snipe Shot as well. Massive Whirlpool, though, to delete 2 members. I'm looking for all back in. And here comes Paper Rex once more. They see the opportunity. We've got a K-Sugar 3 for Yemu. And here comes the solo on the Mewtwo Y to take down the Psyduck as well. Infinite Cybern to land in to kill for their team. And they're going to be looking for more because they're Mega Mewtwo Y now. They take down the Snorlax as well. And we're going to go in for a dunk of 40. Somehow, someway, the Snipe Shot comes in to tear that action.
Yeah, that was ever so close to getting that 40 in, but great timing from Dremp there to go and interrupt that goal and save those dunks. Otherwise, the action isn't going to stop here as Blaziken is trying to shred on through this Aegislash, but Yemu is looking to retreat for the time being and just pick up all of these wild Pokemon that are on hand.
A really good fight from Paper Rex. They really come back into the game. They're matching the triple level 10s on their side now as well. And with Trevenant hitting that level 9 and hitting that level 9, they will have access to those Unite moves for that next fight, Kello. For the broadcast to come back up, but I'm sure these teams are looking for another to start another engagement.
Yeah, there we go. We are back, folks, and we can see that Paper Rex are pretty much aligned in that middle path, just trying to decide where to go, considering that top pad is gone. Well, we don't have long until these second lot of objectives do end up spawning in, but I'm seeing pretty much all Unite moves on hand, except for Solo on the Mewtwo Y.
Yeah, they did use it previously, but what I'm really going to be paying attention is where Mira is going to go with their next Unite move. We need a counter for how many times the Leafeon is able to Unite in this game. We're going to have a battle for this Regirock down in the bottom path, and we can see it is going to be Paper Rex that takes it out this time as they look for an angle to maybe lay siege on this bottom goal zone. Block coming through from the Snorlax. We do have Rebomb caught out in the middle of nowhere, has to use the Phantom Forest to stay in there as Aegislash takes down Solo, the Inteleon as we try to figure out what is going on down in this bottom part. Massive push from Tempest there, but it is going to be, at the end of the day, the Snorlax falling down. Kello, it does seem like Paper Rex is going to be able to win this engagement and maybe break this bottom pad.
Yeah, after the clouds have finally cleared, some sunny days ahead for Paper Rex, being able to pick up multiple KOs, being able to break down that tier 1 pad and bridge ever so closer in points to looking for Org. It is now 187 to 195. This still look for Org's favor.
Yeah, it definitely is looking like their favor. We're gonna guess go on here in between these engagements, but it is going to be the Whirlpool that implies the crowd control not only into the players but seemingly onto the stream as well. Yang doing a fantastic job to initiate these fights, but when dust is settled, it is going to be Inteleon that falls and in trade out for that Mimikyu as well. So Paper Rex still has the lead, but they're looking for Org not too far behind.
Yeah, we just saw the notification, a close battle with a minute left to go. We do have that Regieleki still up in that top path. 15 seconds left to go until another basement Reggie. So it'll be interested to see where either of these teams decide to rotate. I believe Paper Rex has managed to secure every single one of the basement Reggies, and it looks like they're going to prioritize this one once again. Meanwhile, looking for Org, it looks like they're pivoting towards this top path.
Yeah, we're going to have Paper Rex having an uncontested Regirock downstairs, and this is going to be a defense buff that they can carry into that Rayquaza fight. We're going to have confirmation. Yep, all 3 members able to secure it. Yes, they will. And on the top side, in return, Regieleki goes on the side of looking for Org.
Yeah, that is going to put some pressure onto Paper Rex heading on into this final stretch, especially because they're just going to let it go on by. They want to make sure they are there for the team fights, but means one of the members from Looking for Ore could potentially take a risk at dunking and getting double points in just to broaden that gap even further. But as we can hear the sounds, the Rayquaza is here, even though we have a lot of grey clouds blocking the way. We'll have to see how this one pans on out, and all I can say is it's going to be a lot of chaos.
It is definitely a lot of chaos, as the weather report says a chance of cloudy grays in the Sky Ruins right now. We can see the Snorlax going in for a power nap in the midst of it all, and everyone's been popping the Unite move, but it doesn't matter because 3 members Looking for Orc is down. Rayquaza on 1 HP and a Dream, and surely, but surely we will get a secure from one of these teams. We'll wait to find out who that is. Heavy slams go in, Kello. We hear the sound of Rayquaza getting slain. Who and which team has got it? The Rayquaza is going to be the Aegis Slash from Paper Rex, and they're going to go in for some scores.
Oh, and even with LF Org having the points lead in this match, this is going to give Paper Rex a chance to make a comeback. We can see at that minute mark, 287 to 215, as more chances of meatballs are raiding on in and just causing so much havoc in Thea Sky Ruins here today. But yeah, 40 seconds left to go. LF Org, well, they're really going to have to try and make a comeback if they can try and wipe down any members of Paper Rex here.
Yeah, LF Org, LF the next game of a W if they want to keep themselves in this competition, while we LF some new servers to broadcast this game. But in between the PowerPoint presentation of the final 2 minutes, it definitely felt like Paper Rex had the upper hand as soon as they were able to take out 3 members of the Org.
Well, you know what? Just some breathing space, because it is a best of 3 after all for this losers final. So Onyx will just have to sit on tight and see what storms are up ahead that they might end up facing. But we're going to throw it back to Cams, get some resets happening for these servers. That way, hopefully, next match, we can have sunny days ahead.
That's right, we're going to be quickly time skipping, so don't go anywhere, folks. Take this opportunity to grab some snacks, because now that Paper Rex has gotten that game number 1, all the eyes are going to be on Looking for Org to see whether they can send it to game number 3. If not, we're going to have a rematch in the grand finals, which is another set you don't want to miss as well. So we'll be right back. Catch you guys very, very soon.